This is Donovan, Sean Keys,
Big Keys,
and this is Champaign Conversations.
Yes,
Round of applause. We got the God.
Oh no.
The man.
the man in the hour.
Richie. Big Rich. Richie Rich.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. I'd like to start it off by saying I'd like to take it way back. Tell the people, how did you get to Champaign or Champaign County? Because I know you're going to stay right here in Champaign.
Well, I was originally born here.
Okay. Urbana?
Yep.
Urbana ties.
And we moved to Missouri when I was just a little boy.
Okay.
So in the mid 80s, the farming industry went down. So my dad, we were farmers, cattle farmers.
Yeah.
So my dad had to sell the herd, and he came back to Illinois and got into construction.
Yeah.
And so at the end of my high school run, I went into the Marines. Came home from the Marines, and my parents were still in Urbana. So I came to Urbana, and boom, here I've been.
Went to the Marines, so you know that good stuff.
Yeah.
Teach me.
I got all that.
I can learn so much.
I'm a little older and slower, but I haven't forgotten.
Yeah, it's all like that. It's all okay. What's up?
But so that's how it's where I've been, and
So the cattle farm, how was that growing up?
it was great.
Was it?
It really was. I mean, I didn't like it at the time.
Yeah,
when you're a kid, you're like,
Yeah.
it wasn't. I didn't think it was fun.
Yeah.
But now when I look back on it, I wish
Yeah.
I was still there. It was good. It was bad. It was
A little bit.
it's what we were.
Yeah.
So it was great. Yeah, I liked it.
That definitely sounds interesting. As soon as you said the farming industry went down, I wanted to say sadly, because I mean it really is, considering where we are today. With food and health and the FDA and all that stuff. It's just we get away from agriculture. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Doing it ourselves.
I think back in the 80s, the interest rates went so high.
That's what it was.
And if you were in debt to the banks, banks foreclosed. I don't know if you guys remember Farm Aid. The original Farm Aid was here in Champaign Urbana at U of I. It was a concert.
I want to say I heard
it was a concert, and it had all kinds of acts there. I mean, people from Willie Nelson to Van Halen. I mean, the genres were. It was big, and they were raising money for farmers. Back in the 80s, you had all the aids. You had the the Live Aid, the Farm Aid, and all that kind of stuff. So the farmers took a hit back in the 80s. Basically the cattle prices got so low you couldn't afford to feed the cattle. I mean, it's like anything. It's anything you're doing. If you're running in the red, you ain't gonna run long. So that's what happened there. So.
Said Marines, man. Got an Army background myself.
Talk about it.
Was the transition easy from going from soldier to civilian?
Yeah, I don't think it was. Because when I was in, there wasn't.
You
wasn't
hear
like
all
you were in.
horrible veteran stories. And every veteran has his story too. So
yeah, I mean, you know how it is.
Yeah.
In the military. No, I don't think it was hard. Like I said, when I was in, it wasn't. We weren't fighting in Iraq or Afghanistan.
Yeah.
It was just nothing going on. I think the worst was like Grenada. Remember that?
Yeah.
The little island that
I
we went
remember.
down.
I wasn't alive.
And
what's all alive? 91 Grenada. What was Grenada?
then we had Panama. You remember Panama?
I heard about it.
We
read about it in the history books.
Right. Yeah.
So those were the big
conflicts
in my time. And I didn't go to either one of them. So
okay. Well, would you say
literally when I went in, they were training us to jungle warfare.
Jungle warfare.
Because we thought we were, they literally were going to go to Colombia and all those countries down there to fight the narcos, man.
Yeah.
That's what we were doing.
Y'all was about to be the real life narcos, man. That's dope.
So that's what I mean. Now they're training for desert warfare and what have you. When I was there, it was we were training for jungle warfare. We thought we were going to go to Honduras and Colombia and all those countries down there. But
I don't know. Training is definitely a little bit different. It gets different each year too.
Oh, I'm sure.
I got a cousin who just joined, and he was telling me like, yeah, we could have our phones and stuff like that.
When I went in, I literally, my younger brother went into the Air Force on the same day, and he had a suitcase like he was going to summer camp.
Yeah.
And I had the clothes that I was wearing.
That's all I had.
I mean, literally, that's because you couldn't bring anything. I mean, you had to have a good pair of tennis shoes, which I had on my feet.
Yeah.
And the clothes on my back, and that was it.
I had a backpack with some underwear in it and some socks and a change of clothes because he was like, just in case your flight get delayed. My recruiter said that, but it didn't get delayed. But they take all that once you get to reception. So
nothing.
I'll never forget.
Nothing. Like you.
Brand new.
Everything's government issued. From
Everything.
socks to underwear,
Toothbrushes
to eyewear, everything. You're government issued. Definitely a good thing to go through. Well, it's a great thing to go through.
Yeah.
You also like that help? Like, what you feel like it helped as far as what you got going on with finance anyway, as far as your spirit?
No, because they don't pay anything. Back then, we didn't. You didn't make anything.
Discipline, though.
I think discipline. It's very helpful. It helped me. It helped me in my job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you have a structure. There's a structure there for a reason. Not saying the structure is always right.
Method behind the madness.
But there is a structure, and the military is big on that. So I think that helped a little bit. I get my. My father always taught me when I was little always to question authority, because authority is not always right.
Right.
Okay, so that's where I get that from. That part of me, it didn't come from the military. They don't like that.
They definitely don't.
So people that know me know I'm very vocal. I will say what's on my mind, right or wrong, good or bad.
I think you should.
But I try to do it in a respectful way.
Yeah.
Sometimes I probably haven't done that in a respectful way. I do apologize.
Yeah, I lose myself occasionally.
It helped. It did.
I think it's definitely, for me personally, it helped because it broadened my eyes. That was like, I make fun of guys. It was this guy, I want to say he was from one of the Dakotas, North Dakota or something.
Oh, no.
But he never seen a black person before. So his first experience was in the military.
Yeah.
And then me, like I was around white people, of course, but like I never really hung like around white people.
You weren't bunking with white
No,
people.
I wasn't bunking. And my bunkmate, Josh Smith, older guy, he was from Seattle, Washington. Called him Big Guy. And like, that's my bunkmate, so I'm for 9-10 weeks straight.
Yep.
It's me and him.
Yep.
And I'm on the top bunk, he on the bottom bunk. Feet just dangling. So you learn just like that, and I like hip hop, rap. He likes older rock. So it's like, oh, I didn't know about this. So it kind of broadened my eyes. And even when I got to my duty station, just talking to different people and learning different people and just being able to adapt and not just being, it busts me out of the box.
Right. That's
You see what I'm saying?
Well, when we were there, and back then, the drill instructors were, they were tough. But they literally said, hey, there's none of this BS.
Yeah.
We're not black, we're not white, we're not Mexican, we're not Chinese, we're not Canadian, we're not anything. He said we're Marines. And, so if you have differences, or if you're a Catholic, or if you're a Jewish, or it doesn't matter, all that's out the door today. And that's basically what it was. And, because you get into a war scenario,
You gotta trust him, man.
I got you. I got your back. You got to have my back. See, and so
I'm trying to go home to mama.
You don't. That's all out the door. It doesn't matter where you come from, who raised you, nothing. It's
political views, all that out.
Yeah, it's gone because at this point you're the family. You know, it's
especially if you out there in that foxhole,
right?
Like, or you just out there on patrol. You don't really care. Like, okay, this guy doesn't look like me. We got a 12-hour patrol. We in this truck, gun truck. I gotta talk to somebody. I'm going crazy. You said you was from where? Oh, my bad.
It's all good. We had
edit that.
Hey, we ain't edit my Harriet Tubman on the bus. So we can't edit that.
So the military teaches you things that I think
to diversify, like,
well,
to get along with people,
right? Because, like you said, you know, it doesn't matter that I'm from Missouri, you're from Illinois. I like this kind of music, you like that kind of music. You get to know each other. You know, I get to know you, and I get to know your family through you because we're all we got. See, in the same way, you get to know me, you get to know, my history, because that's all we got to talk about. We don't have, we don't have anything else to talk about. So you get to know each other,
and you find that common ground.
Right.
Like I said, like Big Guy was from Seattle, but he was a big sports fan. So we found the common ground talking about sports. Right. Of course, he was a Seahawks fan, and I'm a Packers fan. But it's like we find that common ground. Yeah. It's just like you find it anywhere.
Right. Yeah, and you're right. It's so I think that was a good part of it.
Yeah.
So when you come out of the military, at least you have some structure to yourself. If you don't, then I don't know. You're probably just not going to do well in life, probably.
Then with farming, I hear you talking about the numbers. How the numbers were. Were you aware of that in that moment?
Of the price of cattle and no, I was not.
Okay. So it's something we learned through.
Yeah. My father, my father was, and he still is. He's still alive. But, he's very smart, but at the same time, he's done some things that aren't very smart. Just because you're a smart person doesn't mean you're going to make the right choices. So me being, I was young, so I really didn't pay attention to all that. I just knew I had to get up to feed cattle. It didn't matter. Cattle got to eat, especially in the winter time. So I wasn't a fan of that. And I'll never forget one morning. Being a teenager, you always test your father. I'm a man now. I'm going to test the world.
That's why I need to get those Marines
and
boys. So I need to get these skills. They're going to be tested.
My father came in, and my father was very calm person. Took a lot to upset him, and so he came in and said, it's time to feed. And I said, yeah, I don't think I'm going to feed today. And he didn't say a word. He just walked out my bedroom, and he came back with a 5-gallon bucket of water. And I was bearing that 5-gallon bucket of water. And so, that was a point. But the point was, I'm not going to fight with you. I'm not going to argue with you. This is what we have to do. Yep. And so the next day, I was up before he was, because, and I'll never forget another one is my older brother wouldn't take out the trash. So the trash was in his bed the next day. And it's one of those things. He wasn't going to fight you. He wasn't going to argue with you. He's the boss, and the boss says, "This is what you're going to do." So he had his ways of
discipline.
But my mother was a disciplinarian.
For real?
Yeah.
Mine was too.
She was like a samurai ninja with those big spoons, man. She would whoop you with one of them spoons, man. And you're like,
yeah, mine was.
If we really
definitely beat me a lot of times.
If we really messed up, my father would say, "Go to the barn and wait for me." So you knew you were getting. You were going to get the big one because he would make you wait. and you're up there just waiting.
Thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that was part of the
It
tactic.
always
Oh,
the
yeah.
worst.
And I only went to the barn once.
I'm taking some of this,
Yeah.
actually.
I think
We're
that's-
talking about it.
yeah.
I'm taking some of this.
For real?
Yeah. I got some crazy ways myself. I've been real soft lately, though. I gotta get back to it.
I don't know. For me, I got girls, so I don't know how would it work out.
Yeah, it was all
I know
boys
it's-
in my house, so it's,
Yeah, your mama's gonna have to be the disciplinary.
I stay out the way with the girls, bro.
It's
Stay out
just
the way.
one.
until they get old enough where they start
Yeah.
dating, that's when you step
Oh,
in.
yeah.
I'm not even looking forward to that,
Can't
man.
date till you married.
I was lucky I didn't have any girls. I got all boys, so I didn't have to, show my craziness, I guess. So, because I would.
Yeah, definitely you gotta wait till you married to start dating.
Most definitely. See, look.
I wish I knew how that worked, but never mind.
You said what?
I said I wish I knew how that worked, but never mind.
We got Miss Drew back.
It's
Hey
Miss Drew-
everybody.
Miss Keys.
Miss Keys.
All right, so now that we done loosened up, unwound, can we get some of your financial expertise?
Okay, I have to, disclaimer,
Yeah.
I am not a financial
Advise.
advisor, and I'm not licensed, so, these are opinions only.
Let me give you a
Great opinion.
another intro. We got Richie because every day at work I pick Richie brain about finances, and he helps me out a lot. His advice helps me out a lot, and we know in the black community this thing we call tax time. It means a lot. People come in, they get their refund, and I see a lot of people since I grew up don't know what to do with it. They don't know if they want to invest. Throughout the year, it's been bad. A lot of people want government assistance. So you could just tell your stories of how, you're known as Richie Rich now. From Richie to now I call you Richie Rich.
It's funny, tax time,
And just information about that too. It's like
my kids do the same thing.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, I'm getting my taxes back."
Yeah.
And they run down to Hewitt Jackson or somewhere, and they pay them to do the taxes because they get their money right now. Well, they're not getting all their money.
Yeah.
Hewitt's going to take some of that.
That
Okay. So I always I try to wrap my hands around it, and I try to tell my boys, do it yourself. You can go online and do it. It's free. You go to the IRS website and put it in there, and boom, you're gonna get. It ain't gonna be today,
Right.
but you can get it. Pretty soon. So, but they don't listen. They don't listen.
Yeah, we tend to do that.
They're running down to get their money.
It's my money.
Yeah.
Who was that?
My
J.G.
money,
Wentworth?
I want it now. What is that?
J.G. Wentworth, I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Those people don't have commercials on TV because they're not making any money. Okay? They're making their money. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we were talking earlier when I was younger and I had 3 kids and my wife was at home. I didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
I always had a job,
Yeah.
and I always did something outside of that job to make more money.
Multiple revenue.
Multiple revenue.
Because I had to. I mean,
Yeah.
if I wanted to have anything or get anywhere, this is what I had to do.
Okay.
Because, I didn't have a trust fund to dip into. I didn't have
Okay.
all this,
Yeah.
and it was just me,
Yeah.
So therefore, I had to learn. I made mistakes. I think I made some good decisions. So, you try things to better yourself.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not an expert one bit. What works for me might not work for you. It might not work for you, but at least it gets you thinking. Okay,
Yeah.
and as long as you're thinking about it, I think that's a positive thing. My father was always into coins. Since he was a little boy, he's from Urbana.
Collection. Like coin collection.
Yeah, he would collect coins when he was a kid, but he told me when he started, he got a paper route when he was a kid, and people would pay him with coins.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and he would keep them, and that's how he got started in his business, and he became a big coin dealer. So he was,
passion, man.
Yeah.
but it taught me though. I remember reading a quote or hearing somebody say it. I don't recall, but it was an old guy, and he said, you might want to have some silver dimes because you might have to buy some bread with them someday. I never knew what that meant. Okay? I was young, and I was like, what the heck is this guy talking about? I'm not buying bread. Well, I'll buy some bread. I'll buy the bread. So, but his point was, this guy grew up during the Depression, and those people saved everything they got. And even after the Depression, when times got good, you hear about the baby boomers.
Yeah.
Baby boomers they're living good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a reason why. It was, what they went through and what they did as they were going through life.
They
saved, they put money away, they didn't overspend. And I think in our society today, we overspend, because we can't.
Right.
I just got to the point, like, I want to say like a year and a half ago, where I was just like conscious of what I was spending, because I've been working at my job for like 5 years now. I'm like, where is my money going? Like, I'm borrowing money, calling my mama up, like, Mom, you got $20 for the next paycheck?
Yeah.
And she looked, she said, of course, yeah, I got you, come get it, baby. But it's like, so I had to really like break down, like, I think like people are not conscious of where their money going. So it took me like, I want to say like 3 months to really like break down, like looking at my bank statements, like spending a whole shitload of money on fast food. I've never been like a club person or go out person, party person, but fast food was like the death of me. I spent like literally like $700 a month, 1 month on fast food.
I think
McDonald's, Panda
sure
Express. Definitely invested in y'all.
I need to
But
share.
I'm like, I think that's the key too, is just like knowing where your dollar is going.
Exactly.
And that helped me to like, it took me 3 months to kind of break out that like fast food cycle and just kind of like come up with I'm still kind of, some days I still go, but it's like having that knowledge of self and knowledge where your money's going, and that would allow you to see it, see it. So
awareness, being aware.
I had like a couple bank statements, I highlighted what was this, what was that, and it was like, it helped me, and then it helped me to my next point. So when I realized that I had a little extra money, so I wanted to invest in something like quick, but a friend of mine was telling me like, no, you need something like for a rainy day. Like a lot of people invest, but they don't have anything like, okay, if I lose my job,
Right.
I got money put up.
Any financial advisor, they'll always ask you, how much money you got put away. Do you have 3 months worth? Do you have 6 months worth? What do you have? There's a reason, because like you said, you could lose your job. The markets could crash. The banks don't care. They want their stuff. They want their money. So if you're in debt, it doesn't matter. They don't care. They don't want to hear your sad story. So I call it the speed bump of life. You call it a rainy day. I always call it the speed bump. Your car breaks down. What do you do?
Oh yeah.
Your furnace goes out of your house. What do you do? Your kid gets sick. What do you do? So there's always that speed bump. It's not permanent, but boom, man, you have to go with that speed bump. You gotta
slow
keep
down
going.
To get there, you're gonna mess up.
Because if your car breaks down, how you gonna get to work?
Ain't gonna work.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I had to back up before I went to work. After I got out of the service and I came home, my parents took off. They were traveling.
Oh, okay.
So they were like, so I'm back. They take off traveling. I have no money. Because my parents were, hey, you're on your own. We raised you. We're done giving you money. Now my parents have always helped me, like any parents do. But so they're off traveling, and I'm stuck here. I just come back. I don't have a job yet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there ain't no food. So I don't have any money. I literally, I tell this to my kids all the time. They think I'm, they're just like, oh, the old man's just rambling on. This is a true story. I literally went down to the day old bread store.
Yeah.
and I bought a bag of pancake mix. I had enough money to buy this big bag of pancake mix. Now, I brought it home. I didn't realize you got to have eggs, you got to have some milk. I don't have that. And I thought, wow, what am I going to do? So I ate that bag of pancake mix, and I would use water.
Just mix?
Yep. Then I would cook it up, and yeah. But the important part of this is I made a decision at that point in my life that I'll never be in this spot again.
Right.
And sometimes you have to go through that.
Yeah.
And, it's very uncomfortable. Believe me, when you're eating this, and you're like, man. So I finally got a job. Things picked up, but I just always decided I was never going to be that poor again. And that's what it was. I was poor. I had nothing.
I have a question.
Sure.
So would you say that the financial knowledge that you have now, is it something that you gained through life experience, or did you get interested in it to the point where you've done a lot of studying, and are you just really good with numbers? Is it natural for you, or did you just kind of figure it out?
I think going through life, I figured a lot out going through life. And I made a lot of mistakes. Don't get me wrong, I've made a lot of mistakes. I found out what worked for me, okay? I can go back 10 years and, back during the crash, economic crash, I was playing in the stock market, and my father and I were dabbling a little bit in the commodities market, and, we lost big. There's no guarantee. You can study all you want. You have to go out and you have to fail. I look at it like that. You have to fail to make yourself aware of what is going on and what did I do wrong.
Right.
So the next time I'm not going to fail again.
Right.
It's okay to fail. There's nothing wrong with that. I always say if you're out there trying, you're not failing.
Right.
Okay. If you don't try, then that's a fail. So if you're out there and you're thinking, well, I want to buy stocks. I don't know anything about stocks.
Right.
Okay. There's a lot of websites, apps you can get on today, and you can buy stocks through those apps.
Robinhood is one, I think.
Robinhood, I have an E-Trade account, I have a Stash account, so you can go out there. It doesn't make me an expert because I'm buying stocks. But you can do research on it, My thing with stocks are, people think, well, I want to be like Warren Buffett. No, no, you're not. Okay, I'm going to go buy some Amazon stock. Amazon's worth $1,800 a share. I want some of that. Okay, so you bought $1,800 share. Now what?
One share.
One share. So you got one share of Amazon. Now what?
Right.
It's not going to jump another $1,800.
Yeah. Right.
And you only got one share of it. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, $1,800 really?
Every time
to me, that's foolish in my opinion. I buy stocks that I can get a dividend on and reinvest the dividend. I just keep building them. I don't worry too much about the price. Because I'm looking long term. Mm-hmm. And long term, I'm looking, 10 years down the road. Price comes into it, but it really doesn't.
Right.
I want to do something. I want to build something that I have. So when I do retire, it'll help. Like I said, I've failed in the stock market a few times. I'll put that out there. So you just try.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, you don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
Okay.
Talk about it.
There's nothing wrong with buying equity stocks. There's nothing wrong with putting your money in an IRA. I would say do it.
Mm-hmm.
I like assets. I'm an asset guy. Asset. Your phone is an asset. You own that.
Yeah, you got me.
What you were telling me that story?
You own it. So I like having assets. Gold and silver is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Gold and silver is it's a two-way street. It's an investment. And it's insurance. Okay. I brought some along to show you guys.
Okay.
I really like that. You can invest in that, a few different ways. You can buy ETFs, gold ETFs, or silver ETFs. You can buy the physical metal. It's always good to have, multiple things. Like your chain. Your chain is an asset. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're down on your luck, you call me and I buy it.
I see a lot of buying gold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've done it. It's a lot. My wife had a flower shop, and
That's what I want to get into because you talk about a lot, but like trying stuff and not being successful. But you told me that flower shop story just recently. I think you should. Well, we were about to get into it, but I think that's a great story to tell because it shows. Well, I'll let you tell it.
well, my wife, her mother had a flower shop, and my wife is really talented in that. So she wanted to open up her own flower shop here in Urbana, and so we did. We got the money together, had some help. She opened up. It just we were there 4 years. It just didn't really take off. It was during the economic problems.
Okay.
But it really didn't work. But I was off for I had a shoulder surgery, so I was down there for 6 months. And her hair drove her nuts. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to buy gold and silver while I'm here.
Yeah.
So I did. I started doing that, and I was amazed at how many people were just, in there selling me and gold and silver. And I do not go to these places, people. Okay, I'm just going to put it to you there. Unless you're really that desperate, don't go.
Okay.
Because I know what I was buying it for,
Yeah.
and so the other places were lower than I was, find a reputable person to buy your
Exactly.
your jewelry and your gold and your stuff.
You don't want to be purchasing in the back of an alley and nothing like that.
Yeah, I've done some stuff in the alleys, but those places are everywhere for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
They are everywhere.
Yes, and there's not as many today as there was 10 years ago when it was really big, when gold really shot up and silver really shot up in price. Of course, there's going to be more of those places around, but yeah, do not go to a payday loan company.
Facts.
Reason being.
Well, I'll give you a good example.
Interest rate.
I won't tell you who it was, but I had to get somebody out of that because they got stuck in it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a payday, or it was like a paycheck.
Paycheck loan.
Yeah. So they were down on their luck, so they went to this place and they needed money, and they loaned him the money, and so he would pay it back a week later.
Yeah.
Well, then he gets his paycheck. Well, he's paid back the money he just borrowed, so now he's down again.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes back in there, and it was just he couldn't get out.
Mm-hmm.
He was stuck.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that hamster on that little wheel that just keeps going round and round. It's not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he was stuck. He literally couldn't get out of the situation. So I said, "Stop. Here, I will help you out." He was a relative.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, here, don't do it no more. If
Right.
you need help, come to me. I will help you as much as I can. But those places, the interest rates are
Crazy.
Yes.
Super.
That's what
Trust me, I know personally.
I know personally.
Yeah.
And I think we've all been down that road
Mm-hmm.
at some point in time in our life.
I think I was so thirsty to get the money. I didn't even look what I was signing. I didn't. So they said, "You gonna give me what?" I think it was like $1,000. You gonna give me $1,000? I went in there. I only needed like 200. You gonna give me $1,000? I said, "What?" What do I sign?
Right.
You cutting the check today? All I gotta do is go right up in here. They'll cash it. Okay.
Yeah. And the same thing goes for those, you know.
And you don't even look at that interest rate.
Yeah. Same places like those rent-a-centers. Those places,
Yeah.
they're the same
Yes.
thing. My
Same
brother bought a
thing.
TV that I think he paid on it for 5 years.
Yes.
And didn't even have it after he got it paid off.
TV.
Right.
Yeah.
You probably bought
So-
5 or 6 TVs after 5
Right.
years of paying
Absolutely.
them.
You know, we're I guess it's society has put that we got to have it now.
Instant
Yeah.
gratification.
Yes, and then
IG, Instagram.
and you know after you know I've been trying to talk to one of my sons. He's wanting to buy a car. You know, he has a car. I bought him a car when he was 16. I bought him a car. And it's not a great car, but it gets him where he needs to go, right?
Right.
So I keep trying to tell him, save your money, and then you can go buy you a nice
Yeah.
car if that's what you want to do. You know, he wants that instant gratification.
Yeah.
What he doesn't think about is how much interest he's going to pay. You know, how much his insurance is going to go up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, he doesn't see that. He's
Another
like,
thirsty
you know,
moment of mine. Too.
well, you know what? Here's the thing.
Yeah, I'm
You go to a dealership. They don't tell you all this. They just they tell you, oh, you can afford this. We did the numbers. We ran the numbers. But what they didn't tell you is you still got a power bill.
Yeah.
You
Right.
still got to feed your kids.
Yeah.
You still got, you know, they don't tell you all that. All they want is your money.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to take that car, and you're like, yeah, I want that new car.
And get it.
I can afford it, but you can't afford it.
I know for me it was like, man, wasn't nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with my car. I just like, I'm gonna get a new car. So I'm like, I'm gonna go up in here. I had a down payment. I didn't know about no interest. I didn't know about property tax. So all my down payment went towards that.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't even go to the principal.
Right.
So it was like, yeah.
Yeah.
My people learn from me.
I just went and got a loan a couple weeks ago, and I mean I knew what it was when I was looking at it, but I was just down bad. And I think my first first three payments was all interest,
Yeah.
no principal.
They're gonna get their juice first.
Yeah.
The juice comes first, man. That's anything. They're gonna get their juice, and then
It is ridiculous,
Yeah.
like 300 and some % interest. That should be illegal.
it should be, yeah. But you gotta realize that
They realize it's people like us who don't really know or
Right.
might run into that financial
Well,
burden.
the thing about it is we're not taught this stuff in school.
I was
Facts.
going to give you that. I was going to give you that
So
question.
as you go through school, no one teaches you this.
And it's some of the most important things.
Yeah.
I
Right,
really
absolutely.
feel like
Absolutely.
This
it
is
is.
a necessity. Seriously.
So I remember having a business 101 class in high school. But it was just, this is how you keep track of a checking account. It wasn't, it made it sound like it was, you're going to be the next Warren Buffett. You're not. Okay. No, you're not. So, but it's not taught. It's not taught, and I think that's, it's not taught in the home either.
It's not.
Because I think the big thing is, most people don't know.
No. And
We don't
I think
know.
that's the problem too, because I think like growing up, I didn't have that big viewing of like a strong financial person. Like, yeah, my mom made sure that it was food on the table. Yeah, we had clothes on our back. But far as like saving and
Right.
stocks and credit, like she told us about credit, like make sure you take care of your credit. Credit is important and stuff like that. But it wasn't like more like sit us down and teach us like this is a RA, this is a this, or if you do get a job, or if you want to start this, or how to keep track of this. It was like, I got to make sure that these bills is paid. So I don't really fault that, but I feel like that's a lot of households who live in like under that poverty line.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really have time, and then you think like you learning that in school, but you're not. You learning about George Washington and Abe Lincoln.
I know what I did in school. Okay.
You wasn't none of that.
I wasn't learning about keeping a checking account, okay?
Right.
I mean, and I think it's worse for boys.
Yeah.
Because boys, when we're that old, I mean, you know what you were like in high school. I guarantee you were the same way. Same way I was. Doesn't matter where you're from. Doesn't matter. You're a boy, okay? And ain't nothing else. I mean,
One
you're
thing.
not learning, okay?
On your mind.
You didn't go to school to go to business 101, okay?
Okay.
Professional walker to class.
I took a home ec class once.
Yeah.
It's like homemade.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't learning how to bake cookies. That's where all the girls were at, okay?
I took child development too, because there was a lot of women up in there.
Yeah.
And they gave us a sack of sugar to act like your baby.
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't have no dancing and no nothing.
Oh wow.
For real. Right there at the banner.
My brother was a cheerleader.
Hey,
Hey man, you gotta do it.
He's swole though. He holding women up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I get it.
Cheerleader.
so yeah, we weren't taught that. We had other things on our mind.
Well, since we talking about women, this would be the perfect time to do this game like we call Smash Dash Cup That Ass.
Look how
Did you say cut it or cut it?
Cup.
Okay.
He said
Smash
smash
dash
cup that ass.
Cup. It's
So this is where I'm gonna get in trouble.
It's like our version of F, Marry, Kill. Give you the choices of 3 beautiful women. We're gonna say Cameron Diaz.
Cameron Diaz.
Have we had a Megan Fox?
I was just gonna say
Megan
Megan
Fox.
I don't
Fox.
remember if we.
I don't think we said that, but we can go ahead and throw that in there. Megan Fox. And this was one of the originals. Roseanne.
I knew you were
Roseanne.
Roseanne.
But see, me being in the finances, I'm gonna look who's got the most money.
Right.
And Roseanne's got the most money.
Mhm.
So I'm going. What were my choices?
Smash Dash Cuff That Ass. Smash is just straight, just smash.
Physical.
Cuff is as in
That'd
like
be
married.
Megan Fox would be that. Smash.
Okay.
And then dash as in like run away or kill.
Okay, well, I'm gonna marry Roseanne because she's worth $1 billion.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I
Okay.
didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Oh, okay.
She's worth a lot of money.
Okay.
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 Spin the check.
You know,
Smart investment.
what was my? Who was the other girl?
Megan
Carmen
Fox,
Diaz.
Carmen
Yeah,
Diaz.
she's probably a little crazy, so I'm probably gonna run from that.
Dash.
I think you're right.
Okay. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Man, I don't know if Roseanne. Oh, golly. Well, as long as I can keep cuffing Megan Fox.
Talk about it. Talk about it, Richie.
So yeah.
That's what's up.
Because I am older now, so I got to look out for my future.
Facts.
Roseanne would be a
good investment.
Good investment, yeah.
Long term.
Yes.
Megan Fox is a short term investment.
She's yeah.
Drew.
I mean, this really ain't complicated for me this time just because I know you say you're not an expert, and really with me personally, I don't even understand what it is you need to be an expert. Like, I think
A degree.
experience.
Letters
Right,
behind your
and
name.
that's just like we talk about this third party thing, and we talk about all the time. That's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But experience is what I say personally.
My best advice for you guys, you're young,
Yeah.
okay, is to invest your money in your 401k. Okay, keep bumping it up. You don't have to bump it up, 10%, but as long as you're bumping it up 1% every year, every 6 months, you're saving more money. Okay, and you're not going to see it. It's not going to hurt you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The worst thing you can do is get yourself in a bind. All right, I'm gonna invest all this money in oh, that bump in the road just hit.
Nice.
Now I got to pull it out because you're going to take a loss. Okay.
Yep.
With stocks, you have to pay tax when you make money on it. So if you pull it out, you're going to get hit with a fee for pulling it out.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get hit with a tax at the end of the year because you made money.
Yep.
So my best advice for people is to start young because I didn't start young. Okay, I'm making up for lost time is what I'm doing, and I'm literally everything I do is I'm putting it away. I'm not living above and beyond where I could be. I'm stashing every dollar I can get my hands on, and my whole theory is small money will turn into big money. Okay, and what I mean by that is if you'll hear people say, "Well, I don't make enough money to save." Well, if you're making money, you can save something. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're saving it. So if I'm only making $50 a week and I put $1 away, you saved $1. Next week, you're gonna put the other $1 in there. Now you've got 2.
Yeah.
Okay, following week. So 2 years down the road, how much do you have? It will keep building. And that's the whole point, to build wealth, okay? However you do it, to build it. And I think that's my best advice for anybody. Save what you can. Don't oversave, because then you're going to get into it. It's real easy to get into. You know, man, I gotta have that money. Well, then that money's gone.
Yep.
So now you're back to square one. Yep. And I've been there. I will tell everybody, I've been there more than once.
And that's what I think makes you an expert.
And so you
experience.
As you learn, you know, it's real easy to spend.
It is.
It's very hard to make. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, yeah. And you'll find what works for you. Okay? I do 2 or 3 different things that work for me. You know, my wife's always on me, you know, and I'm like, you know, hey, we're not getting younger. Yeah, but nothing. My foot is down, you know, I'm not doing it, you know. I mean, yeah, it would be fun to go, you know, it'd be fun to go to Acapulco or somewhere really, you know, she's always wanting to go to Tahiti because she'd been there when she was a kid. I'm not going to Tahiti, you know, unless I win the lottery. You know, so, you know, because that instant gratification of going to Tahiti for a week that would cost me a huge sum of money is going to take me 10 years to replace.
Yes.
See, so it's, you find what works for you, and there's all kinds of programs out there, and you can try something. If it doesn't work, don't give up. You know, try something else.
Okay.
I think that's the big thing too, not giving up.
Don't give
And
up.
when you hit the speed bump, just realize it's a speed bump.
Right. It's part of life.
That's what I'm taking
You
away
know,
from this.
things happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Learn how to take a loss. Humbly take a loss.
Right. And you know what?
If you learn
It's hard to
something,
eat sometimes.
Yeah, for real.
It is. So, but you realize it ain't the end of the world.
Right.
You know, and you keep going. Like I said, I got some samples for you guys. I know you guys want to see this stuff.
Definitely.
I brought some gold. I brought some silver today, and I brought some samples of
You can
stuff.
tell. I thought that was some.
What did you think that was?
Not.
I thought that was some weed, boy. I'm like, boy, you out here in the marijuana industry too?
I'm not.
I am invested in it.
See, look, he is invested in it. That's what's up.
You can buy stocks in it. That's for sure. So
yeah.
I didn't know that. Let
I
me
need
get
to
in
stay
the
out
game.
hood, I do not smoke for people out there watching.
That's how rumors get started.
So we got all kinds of samples here. Yeah.
No,
they don't.
Like a whole
No, they don't.
sample.
And this is what I like, okay? Because this is real wealth. Okay, this is real wealth. I have it. It's right here.
You mind if I move your cup aside?
Yeah. Get up in there. So, I mean, this is, you know, this is wealth. I can sell this at any point in time, okay?
Yes, sir.
It's like anything else. You know, when you buy it, there's a front end and there's a back end, okay? But I'm not taxed on it.
Right.
Okay, the value goes up and the value goes down like anything else. Okay, so you know I don't worry about it because I have it.
Do you mind explaining what some of those
I will.
pieces is? Because I
I
went
don't
to
know
public
if you
school.
can, I don't know if you can see it or not.
Nice and gold.
This is a 1 ounce gold eagle. Our government makes these. Okay, pass it around. Get a good feel for it.
Oh,
Man.
yeah.
Feels good.
Yeah,
Feels good.
So
This is a
a
half ounce. Same thing.
1 ounce, half ounce.
Okay.
Y'all in it.
1 ounce, half ounce.
Quarter ounce.
Okay. This is a 1/4 ounce.
See what I'm saying?
All right.
That's a reason why he had that in the mirror. My drug dealers know what we talking about.
And this is a 1/10 of an ounce.
Wow.
Okay.
And it's all gold.
Pure gold.
Yeah, it's solid.
Heavy,
You
too.
should.
Yeah, it feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You feel it. No, go ahead, get a good feel for that, man. Feel that. It feels good, doesn't it?
Seriously.
I mean,
It's nice and Wait.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
oh yeah, your chain's only 14.
You wanna?
Which basically means it's about, I think it's 5.7%.
I like
So
gold.
like gold.
Okay.
So the actual gold value is like 50%.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's just solid gold.
Right. So this is solid. These are silver eagles.
Oh wow.
Okay. These are made by our government. You know.
Just as heavy.
Oh, that's a little bit lighter.
Yeah. Be like the old miners and take a chunk out of it. So that's a silver eagle.
Dang.
Okay. Now our government makes these. They have to make them by law.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it a reason why?
Yes.
I didn't even know that.
Okay. Back in the Nixon, I think it was Nixon, took us off the gold and silver standard. Our money was backed by gold and silver. Okay. So if they couldn't print, and don't quote me on this, everybody, but I don't believe they could print more than what they had in gold and silver. So if you're backing your money and you have $10 billion in gold, then you can print $10 billion in gold reserve notes.
Okay.
Or basically silver, same way. If they had X amount of silver, they could print that many. Well, they took us off of it, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit because they basically stole our wealth. All right. And I know it's kind of confusing a little bit, but I'll talk about it in a second after I get through all these here. This is a Morgan silver dollar. Okay. This is what you would carry around with you back in, I can't see it, 1921. You know, that would be like just having a dollar bill in your pocket.
Okay.
So, I mean, you had paper money too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we also had coin money that was silver, and this is another silver dollar if you want to check it out. So,
I do believe I've seen this one before.
That's dope, man.
so what we have here is a silver quarter. Okay. These are 90% silver.
Okay.
All right. So basically, yeah, get a regular quarter out.
I got a regular
Right. I want to see.
I'm broke. That's why I'm here.
Regular quarter.
So you got a regular quarter.
Yeah.
They're the same size, same dimensions, everything. The only difference is, you hear that?
Yeah.
Hear the difference in sound?
That first one.
Got a little weight to yours, huh?
Yeah, so that means you're So basically, you know, they made silver quarters, silver dimes. Here's a silver dime, same thing. It's just after 1964, they quit doing it. Okay.
Okay.
They made silver. I didn't bring it, but they made some silver nickels. Back they're called war nickels because during World War II, they made some silver war nickels.
That's why he said keep your silver dime.
Right. That's what the old man was basically saying, you know. So this here I brought. This is Chinese gold. It's a 1/20th of an ounce. It's small. But I brought it because it's just, you know, there's all kinds of not every country, but there's a lot of countries that
Coin?
make gold coins.
That is so small.
Australia, New Zealand,
Wow.
Canada, Mexico, Somalia. Somalia even makes
Get that
gold
in
coins.
there.
You know,
It's
so there's
little.
now this one is platinum, and our government makes it. It's a 1/10 of an ounce of platinum. You know, they make palladium. I don't have any, so I didn't bring any.
Why does face look so strong on here, man?
It's platinum, brother. You know?
Look at her face, man. Statue of Liberty face. Is that how her face look for real?
I have no idea.
Oh, yeah, no, they messed that artwork up.
Yeah.
She like, what's buddy name?
Medusa.
Brock Lesnar, bro.
Oh, I knew.
Like she wrestled. Like she a professional wrestler. But
Whatever she does, it's platinum.
she's so familiar.
This, I don't know if you can see this. This is raw gold.
That looks dope.
Okay, this is like what you would get if you were panning gold.
Okay.
Right? So, it's not a pure gold. it's probably like a 20, 22 carat. Where gold is 24 karat. It has to be refined. But that's basically how it would come out of the earth if you were mining it. Yeah.
Dang.
So how do you get a hold of all this?
Well, I mean, you can.
So people who, because you said they stopped making these coins in what, 1964?
Yeah.
So people that they're still floating around. Of
Oh
course.
yeah, you can still find some in circulation.
And you're able to basically do like a trade off or buy it that way.
You can go to a coin dealer and buy that stuff.
Okay.
I used to see them all the time. It was what,
But-
infomercials.
Yeah, don't buy that stuff.
Okay.
No.
Good thing
No,
I never
no.
did.
Right.
The best way to buy
like this one.
the best way to buy this stuff is you go to a reputable coin dealer, okay, a bullion dealer, because this is basically bullion, and buy it that way. Because the front, what I call the juice, is not as big. Okay. Now there's always going to be juice. This is worth today probably $1,325. I didn't check the market this morning, but so if I was going to go buy this, normally the norm is it's $100. Okay, so it probably cost me $14.25 or $14.30 somewhere in there. Okay, so usually $100 on the front, $100 on the back. So if I sold it, they're going to take $100. So it'd be worth $1,200. Whatever. Silver, basically the same way. The Eagles usually have a little bit more premium on them because people like them. So, silver today is probably around $15, $80, $16 an ounce. So these are probably cost you, I don't know, $20. Okay. I brought this one. This is just a ounce of silver. Okay. We call it rounds. It's an ounce. Okay. And companies will produce these. It's a pure ounce of silver. Okay. There's nothing special about it. It's just an ounce of silver that Donovan made, whatever. And you can buy it like that. And normally the premium on these are not as high as they are on the Eagles. Okay, so basically, I like this stuff because that bump in the road. I've had a lot of bumps in the roads in my life, and I've had this stuff where I'm like, you know what? I have to sell some of it. I'm not getting taxed on it. I can sell it for cash today, and I'm on my way. See what I'm saying? I don't have to go down to the bank or the local guy who, will loan you money.
Right.
And I don't have to pay the juice.
That's what's up.
So therefore, I'm okay. I don't like it, but I have to do it. And everybody's in that position at some point in time in their life. So I do this. I like this stuff. Mainly, and I've taught a lot of people how to do it. And it's up to you whether you do it or not.
Assets, brother.
And all the financial people tell you should have 20% of this in your portfolio. Okay, so if your portfolio is 100,000, you need at least 20,000 of this in your portfolio.
Okay,
it's insurance. All right. If the markets tank, this is going to go up.
Right.
Okay, that's why they tell you to have it. It's one canceling out the other kind of thing.
Okay.
If your car breaks down, your transmission goes out, we'll get a new transmission. I don't have to take a big hit to do it. Okay, so it's wealth. All right. I like it more than I like equities and stocks and everything else because I can feel this, man.
Yeah, definitely.
I can lay on my bed or on the couch. I can just do this all day long. I'm like, I got something. I can put this in my pocket. I can take off down the road. I can sell it anytime. So it's wealth. That's all I can say about it. It's wealth.
That was very valuable.
Definitely.
It's something you can do. People are like, well, I don't have $1,300 to buy gold.
That's
why
that
you buy these
tax
little
refund though.
You were saying the front and back. I just learned that. Were you saying how it's $100 front and back either way?
Right.
I didn't even know that. I'm gonna have to learn the front and back value of
it's that way with anything you get into. Okay, whether it's stocks. Okay, they're not buying and selling this stuff for you for free.
Right.
Nobody does that. Okay, they're going to get their juice.
Right.
Okay, or when you, like you were saying, you didn't know about the interest rate. they were giving you that $1,000 because they thought you were a great guy. You know,
Wormed it.
no, I mean,
We got 1,000 for you.
you know what I'm saying? So therefore, anything you do, anytime you have to deal with a transaction, they're going to get there. Okay, that's what they're in business for. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with it. It's just how smart you are
Before you go in.
right. And like I said, I've learned this as I went. I was like Donovan. I'm like, man, I'll get that $1,000. Shoot,
I show
boom.
300 to 1,000.
Right.
Mama, we out.
Credit cards.
I was
you
just
get a
gonna
credit card.
ask you about that.
Credit cards, to me, are the devil. Okay? They are the devil to me. And I have reason, and I don't want to get into it.
Got a pocket full
I
of
love
devils
your
right
wife,
now,
but
man.
I won't get into it.
It must be a
I know
wife
that's
thing, huh?
So
I'm the credit card person over here.
here's my thing. And this is what everybody always says. We need a credit card. Why?
To build your credit.
Okay.
Other ways though.
To buy a house?
Credit card? I bought a house. I didn't have a credit card.
Well, to build your credit.
Okay, but
So he's saying,
I'll give you my experience with credit card. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have one. Okay, it's not what I'm saying. I can do everything with a debit card that I can do with a credit card.
Okay.
Okay. Difference is I have the money in the bank. All right. I don't have the money in the credit card.
Right.
I have to pay it back. And if I can't pay it back, they're going to charge me 18% or whatever their going rate is. Okay. That's big. That's a big percentage.
it is.
Most people can't do that. They're not that well trained to be able to pay it off every month.
Right.
Okay. That's why I don't want them. They're easy. Okay.
Real easy.
Let it know. I agree.
It's easy. I don't want to be in that position. At my point in my life, I don't owe anybody any money.
Right.
Okay. It took me a long time to get there. I don't have that weight of that debt on my shoulders.
Right.
Financially
And
free.
I'm gonna tell you what, I smile a lot more today than I did because I don't have that debt.
Financially free, man.
It's hard to explain because if you're not, you won't understand it.
Right.
You just have to get there. I can't get you there. I can only point you in the direction.
Yep, that's all we need.
It's up to you to do that.
So it's no Richie loan service, just Richie advice service.
I don't want to loan money to people I know.
Yeah.
It's just,
Facts. Facts.
it puts you in a bad spot, and
Facts.
well, if you came to me and said, hey, I can't pay my rent this month, why? Because I know you. You're making the same amount of money I am. So what did you do that you can't pay your rent?
You probably ain't gonna be able to pay me neither day.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but if you came to me and said, hey, I'm really in a tough spot, it just depends what that position is,
Yeah.
It's bad to loan people money that you know.
Right.
Especially family.
At least to me, because I be seeing people like you let them loan money, and then you see them doing what got them to the position to them asking you to loan money.
Right.
And then
They don't change.
And then you confront them, and it's like they got an attitude.
Get out my pockets.
Right.
But you was just in my pockets though.
See, that's why I don't even ask you for no money. That's why. It's like I'm trying to help you identify.
But they don't want to change.
Yeah.
They just want the
To
quick
make
fix.
things, yeah.
They want quick fix. Yeah, I owe Donovan $1,000. I'll get him later.
Yeah.
He's my buddy.
Be cool.
Yeah,
understand.
But Donovan needs that money.
There's people out here
You
that
know?
still owe me money. I ain't
So-
forgot.
We coming to get it.
Yeah. So money's a funny thing. If you pull out paper money, it's just that. It's just paper.
Yeah.
It's just paper. This is a way, a means to pay for whatever it is you have to do. So they took us off the gold standard, and they did that, I believe, so that they could print more money.
Inflation.
Because yes, they can manipulate the system that way. I'm not saying I don't remember, so I wasn't there in '64 when they did it. I wasn't live, So I don't know what it was like.
Okay.
You know, I just know what we have today.
Right. Yeah.
But you know, I can always remember the old timers, man. The old timers. My aunt tells a story about my grandfather when they called all the gold in. You know, because they used to make $20 gold pieces about the same size, and you know, your employer would pay you. You know, here's your gold. You know, or paper, whatever it was, because they had paper too. But they called it all in. What they did is they stole our wealth. Mm-hmm. What I mean by that, when I take this silver quarter, okay, this is wealth because it's silver. Well, today the quarter you just showed me is a little bit of copper, it's a little bit of zinc, you know.
More like what, silver plated maybe?
No, it's just different alloys. Cheaper, right? It's cheaper. Okay, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, definitely.
They did, and I always use the example of a penny. You know, people are like pennies. Pennies used to be copper. Okay, copper is a metal that's worth more than what they are today. They're zinc. Okay, so they changed that. They stole our wealth.
Stole our wealth. Yeah, most definitely.
Okay, because you know. When you think about it, your money is your wealth. Yeah. But if you're walking around with a piece of tin,
or a piece of paper,
what does it really mean?
Right. It doesn't have any value to it. That makes any sense. There's no value to it.
It's like stepped on Coke. That's what we're gonna talk about. Stepped on.
So it's
put the baking soda in it.
You know, they basically stole the wealth from us, the people, we the people, and we didn't even know.
Right.
So.
Yeah. You know, when I realized that, I jumped. I did a lot of scrapping.
Yeah.
And and I realized that exactly what you said. Copper, you get a pretty penny for, and I'm like, so if I take a lot of pennies,
right.
Well, they made it illegal.
Okay.
Because they don't want you to do that because they want you to turn them back in so they can. I don't know if they do that or not, but I don't know if there's a guy back there going through all the pennies. But you understand what I'm saying? They made it illegal to do that, to melt down currency, because they know that's wealth. So if you're taking the wealth and you're melting it down, yeah. I used to have a formula for that. It was so many pennies to make a pound, and I'm thinking the same way. I'm like, man, melt them pennies down. You know, how much can I make on them? But you got to put in. Copper melts at 1,600 degrees. I don't have anything getting that hot. So, you know, what's it going to cost me to melt them down? You know, at the end of the day, I'm still in the red. But yeah, they did. They passed a law that you can do that.
Okay.
But yeah, but you're thinking that way. I mean, you know, copper's worth this amount of money, and zinc is
lower,
way down here. You know, I mean, so. It's cheaper for them to make it, but it, in turns, which, you know, is fine, but we don't have the copper
value.
It's taken away from us.
It just isn't the United States. All these countries in the world have done the same thing. You know, Mexico's done it, England's done it, France, you know, they've all done it.
Okay.
You know, they've all done it. Throughout the years, they've all done it. So, and, you know, it's just the way it is, I guess, but most people don't think about it.
Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Well, I appreciate it.
We really appreciate you for coming. We learned a lot.
I did, definitely.
That people, I think they need this. And like I said, it's tax time.
It is tax time.
You don't want to blow that refund.
No, I mean, if you don't have to.
Matilda's daddy buying a bogus car. You don't want to end up like me with a bogus loan.
Yeah.
So, man, watch this video, and thanks, Richie Rich, for coming on.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
This is Donovan, Sean Keys, and this is Champaign Conversations.
Yeah.
Stop.
Amazon, man. I worked there in Indiana, 2012.
It's still like the red light still.
They weren't really booming
Right.
they are now. They were selling stocks. I had no idea where I was. Nothing about stocks.
Right.
I want to say even offered them to us cheaper.
Probably did.
Through the company. I know there was a 5 and a 0. I can't remember if it was 50 or if it was a 5. But I know